Hello, and welcome to Bookish English 2, the podcast for English learners who want to grow their confidence and speak more like a real person. I'm Ariel, and I'm here with you today to help you speak English in a way that feels natural and easy. No pressure, no stress, no big grammar books. Just step by step, day by day, like talking to a friend. I will speak slowly, clearly, and with short sentences so you can follow me, understand me, and repeat with me. This is not about being perfect. This is about being real. In today's story, we are going to explore something special. It's called Speak Naturally 500 Sentence. But don't worry, you don't need to remember 500 things today. You just need to take the first small step. Let's begin with a question. Why do we feel scared to speak English? Maybe you know the words, but they don't come out. Maybe your brain is full, but your mouth is silent. Maybe you feel like your voice is not ready. I understand. I felt that too. Many learners feel shy, nervous, or confused. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if I sound wrong? But here's the truth. Mistakes are part of learning. No one speaks perfectly at the start. Speaking is a skill, just like cooking or swimming. You need to do it again and again. And the more you do it, the more natural it feels. So what can help us speak naturally? Let's take one simple idea. Speak short sentences every day. Not long grammar sentences. Not hard vocabulary. Just short, clear, friendly sentences like, I am learning. I like this. This is my bag. Sentences that you can use in your real life. Sentences that help you think in English, speak in English, and feel like English is your own. Now let's try together. I say the sentence. You repeat it after me. I am here. Now you say it. This is English. Say it now. I want to speak. You try. Speaking is fun. Now your turn. That's it. That's how we begin. These are your first natural sentences. We can call them your speaking seeds. You plant them now. You water them with practice. And they will grow. You will grow. You don't need 100 rules. You just need one habit. Speak short sentences every day. One sentence in the morning. One in the evening. Maybe 3 before sleep. 5 while walking. 10 while cooking. Don't wait for a big class. Don't wait for the right moment. Just start with what you have. Your phone. Your mirror. Your voice. That's enough. Let's keep going. Repeat with me. I am learning English. I speak every day. I like small steps. I feel stronger now. My English is growing. Very good. Now take a breath. Smile. You are doing something powerful. You are using your own voice. And that is the secret. When you speak with your own voice, you build real English. Not textbook English. Not robot English. Real English. The kind you use with people, in your life, at your job, at the store, with friends. That's what speak naturally means. It means speak like yourself. Speak without fear. Speak with your heart, even if the words are simple. Now let's learn more short sentences you can use every day. Listen and repeat. Good morning. How are you? I am fine. What is this? This is my book. This is my phone. That is my bag. I need help. Can you help me? Yes, of course. Thank you so much. You are welcome. See you later. Take care. Nice to meet you. You see? These are not big sentences. But they are real. You can use them in daily life. You can speak them to yourself, to your family, to your mirror, or to your phone. And every time you speak, you become more natural. You become more ready. Let's add more. Repeat again. I like this food. This tea is hot. My room is small. The sky is blue. It's raining. I am tired. I need rest. I want to learn. I love English. I will not give up. These are power sentences. They are short. They are clear. They give you energy. You can speak them anytime. When you feel nervous, speak one. When you feel lazy, speak one. When you are happy, speak one. Make speaking English your daily rhythm. Not just once a week. Not only when you have free time. Make it part of your life. Like brushing your teeth. Like drinking water. Make it simple. Make it normal. And soon, it will feel easy. Now here is a little story. A girl named Sarah wanted to speak English. But she felt shy. She had many books, but she was too scared to speak. One day, she decided to say just one sentence. I want to speak. The next day, she said two. I want to speak. I will try. Then three. I want to speak. I will try. I feel good. Every day, one more. After 1 week, she had 10 sentences. After 1 month, she had 50. After 3 months, she was speaking to friends. She was sending voice messages. She was making English videos. She didn't wait for perfect English. She just started with small steps. You can do the same. Start with 1 sentence, then 2, then 5, then 10. Soon you will have 100, 200, 500. That is this Speak Naturally 500 sentence. It's not a test. It's not a grammar list. It's a path. It's a journey. It's your own personal speaking path. Every sentence you say is one step. So take your step now. Speak it with me. I can do it. I believe in myself. I will not stop. I speak English every day. This is my time. Let's keep going, my friend. You are here. You are trying. You are doing something many people only dream of. You are learning to speak English with your own voice, your own rhythm, your own heart. And the best way to keep moving is to stay simple. So let's build more short sentences. Repeat after me. I wake up early. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast. I go to work. I come back home. I feel sleepy. I like this show. I cook rice. I drink tea. I rest now. Good. These are real-life sentences. You can use them every day. You can think them. You can say them. You can even write them. Now try to say them without me. Can you do that? Try to speak them slowly, one by one. Try now. Yes, just like that. You are doing it. Let's add some feeling words. Feelings are very important. They help you express yourself. Repeat again. I feel happy. I feel sad. I feel okay. I feel tired. I feel cold. I feel warm. I feel nervous. I feel strong. I feel excited. I feel calm. Good job. These are great for daily use. You can mix them too. For example, I feel happy today. I feel tired now. I feel calm in the morning. You see? Just small changes make your sentences more powerful. And the more you say them, the more they become a part of you. Let's talk about places now. Repeat after me. This is my house. This is my room. This is the kitchen. This is the bathroom. I am in the park. I am at school. I am at the store. I am on the bus. I am at home. I am outside. These are place sentences. You can use them to describe where you are. Try mixing with time. For example, I am at home now. I am outside today. I am on the bus this morning. Can you try one? Yes, perfect. Now let's talk about time. Time sentences are useful. Repeat after me. It is morning. It is afternoon. It is evening. It is night. It is late. It is early. It is 10 o'clock. It is time to eat. It is time to sleep. It is a new day. These help you talk about your day. You can add more. It is morning. I feel sleepy. It is night. I am at home. It is time to rest. You are building your English. One layer at a time. One sentence at a time. One day at a time. And that is the best way. Let's learn some helpful action words now. Actions are what we do. Repeat again. I walk. I run. I sit. I stand. I write. I read. I eat. I drink. I sleep. I study. Now try to make full sentences. I walk to school. I sit on the chair. I eat rice. I read a book. I sleep at night. You are doing great. These are simple actions, but very useful. Use them every day. Say them when you do them. Speak while you move. It helps your brain. Now let's try family words. Repeat after me. This is my mother. This is my father. This is my sister. This is my brother. I love my family. My mother is kind. My father is strong. My sister is smart. My brother is funny. We are together. These are sweet sentences. Say them with love. Say them with feeling. You can also say, I miss my family, or I call my mother. These are all natural, all useful. Now let's look at question sentences. Questions help you speak with others. Repeat these. How are you? What is your name? Where are you from? Do you like it? Can you help me? Is this your bag? What is this? Where is the store? What time is it? Are you okay? Great. These questions help you talk. Practice asking and answering. Example, how are you? I am fine. Where is the park? It is near the school. You are learning to speak with people. That is real practice. That is natural speaking. Keep asking. Keep answering. Every question is a door. Now let's look at numbers. Numbers help with many things. Repeat with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one bag. I see 2 cats. I want 3 apples. 4 people are here. 5 books are on the table. Numbers help you describe. Use them often. Don't be afraid. Small numbers are easy. Use them every day. Let's add some sentences about things. Repeat again. This is a book. This is a chair. This is a pen. That is a table. That is a door. This is my phone. This is your cup. This is her bag. That is his car. That is their house. These help you speak about things. You can also say, I like this book, or that pen is blue. Try it now. Yes, that's very good. You are speaking naturally now. One more group, weather sentences. Repeat with me. It is hot. It is cold. It is sunny. It is raining. It is cloudy. It is windy. It is snowing. The weather is nice. The sky is blue. It looks like rain. These are good for everyday talk. Try using them when you go outside. Look at the sky. Feel the air. Then say what you see. Say what you feel. This is how you bring English into your life. Not just in class. Not just in books. But in your real, living world. That's what this story is about. Making English part of your day, part of your thinking, part of your life. You are doing amazing. Keep going. Keep speaking. Keep smiling. This is your path. This is your power. Now let's talk more about speaking with yourself. Talking to yourself is one of the best ways to practice. You don't need anyone. You don't need to wait. Just look around and say what you see. Say what you do. Say what you feel. For example, you wake up and say, Good morning. I feel sleepy. You go to the kitchen and say, I make tea. I drink it slowly. You walk outside and say, The weather is nice. I see a tree. These are your private sentences. These are your practice steps. Nobody listens. Nobody judges. It's just you and your voice. And your voice matters. Your voice is your power. Repeat with me now. I talk to myself in English. I say what I do. I say what I see. I say what I feel. This is my voice. This is my practice. I am not afraid. I am learning. I am trying. I am growing. These short lines are not just practice. They are like a friend. They help you stay strong. They help you feel brave. Now let's make more daily life sentences. Repeat with me. I open the door. I turn on the light. I wash my hands. I clean the room. I cook rice. I eat slowly. I drink water. I check my phone. I read a message. I write a reply. These are real things. Real actions. You do them every day. Now speak them every day. Add your English to your routine. Add your words to your actions. That is natural speaking. That is how you grow. Let's do more. I sit on the chair. I turn on the fan. I fold my clothes. I sweep the floor. I watch a video. I listen to music. I wash the dishes. I take a shower. I brush my hair. I wear my shoes. You see how easy it is? It's just one line at a time. One step at a time. These small steps become strong habits. They build your natural English. They help you speak without fear. Now let's talk about likes and dislikes. These sentences help you express who you are. Repeat after me. I like tea. I like music. I like reading. I like walking. I like learning. I don't like noise. I don't like cold weather. I don't like waiting. I don't like big crowds. I don't like traffic. You can use these every day. Say them when you eat. Say them when you walk. Say them when you rest. I like this movie. I don't like this food. I like quiet places. I don't like loud sounds. These are true to you. They show your thoughts. They make your English personal. That is real English. That is natural speaking. Now let's try some goal sentences. Goals help you stay motivated. Speak them with me. I want to speak better. I want to learn more. I want to speak fast. I want to speak clearly. I want to feel free. I want to travel. I want to meet people. I want to understand movies. I want to enjoy English. I want to grow. These are your dreams. Your direction. Speak your dreams aloud. Give them life. Say them every day. They will guide you. They will support you. Now let's try planned sentences. Repeat with me. Today I will study. I will watch a video. I will repeat the words. I will read out loud. I will write a sentence. I will say it again. I will speak in front of the mirror. I will record my voice. I will listen to myself. I will keep going. These small plans make big progress. Don't wait for the perfect day. Just do one small thing today. Then again tomorrow. Then again the next day. That is the way forward. That is the way to natural speaking. Now let's try some daily speaking games. Yes, games. Speaking can be fun. Try this. Look at 5 things in your room. Say their names in English. This is a table. This is a fan. This is a bottle. This is a bed. This is a book. Now try to describe each one. The table is brown. The fan is fast. The bottle is full. The bed is soft. The book is new. Now try actions. I touch the table. I turn off the fan. I drink from the bottle. I sit on the bed. I open the book. You just made 15 short sentences from 5 simple things. See how powerful that is? You can do this every day. Another game. Look out the window. Say what you see. I see the sky. I see a tree. I see people. I see a car. I see birds. Now describe. The sky is blue. The tree is tall. The people are walking. The car is red. The birds are flying. Now speak what happens. The car stops. The man talks. The bird sings. You are making English from your world. That is natural. That is beautiful. That is speaking. You are not learning. You are living it. Let's do one more game. It's called Talk Your Actions. When you move, speak. When you do something, say it in English. I open the window. I wash my face. I put the phone down. I tie my shoes. I sit on the floor. Say it softly. Say it clearly. Say it again. This makes English active. This connects your body to your mouth. This helps you speak naturally. These small games help a lot. Try them alone. Try them every day. English will become part of you. Not just something you study. Something you live. That is your goal. That is your path. And I am proud of you. Keep your voice strong. Keep your steps small. But keep walking. You are not lost. You are learning. Let's keep moving. You are doing well. You are speaking more. You are thinking in English. You are starting to feel the words. That is what we want. That is the goal. Not just to learn words, but to live them, to use them, to love them. Now let's practice more daily talking. Let's say things about today. Repeat after me. Today is a good day. Today I feel strong. Today I speak more. Today I learn new words. Today I will not stop. These are your today sentences. They are simple. They are powerful. Say them in the morning. Say them before sleep. Speak with hope. Speak with joy. Speak with care. Now let's try sentences for tomorrow. Repeat with me. Tomorrow I will learn more. Tomorrow I will speak again. Tomorrow I will listen more. Tomorrow I will write a sentence. Tomorrow I will try again. These are your tomorrow sentences. They help you look forward. They give you energy. They help you stay strong. When today is hard, think about tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes, speak again. Let's also practice I can sentences. These are good for building confidence. Repeat with me. I can speak English. I can listen well. I can learn fast. I can use short sentences. I can talk to people. I can understand more now. I can grow. I can smile. I can ask questions. I can keep going. Every time you say, I can, you become stronger. Every time you say it, you take a step. These steps are small, but they take you far. Say one, I can every day. It will change your English. It will change your heart. Now let's say, I will sentences. Repeat after me. I will speak today. I will try again. I will not give up. I will make mistakes. I will learn from them. I will say my thoughts. I will practice aloud. I will record my voice. I will read with feeling. I will enjoy the process. These sentences are your promise. They are your power. They help you walk forward. They help you feel brave. Now let's say, I am sentences. These are very important. Repeat after me. I am learning. I am growing. I am getting better. I am not perfect. I am enough. I am a speaker. I am on my path. I am proud. I am happy. I am ready. These sentences are your truth. Speak them daily. Speak them softly. Speak them with love. Now let's practice question and answer. I ask, you answer. How are you? You say, I am fine. What time is it? You say, it is 8 o'clock. What is this? You say, this is my phone. Do you like tea? You say, yes, I do. Where is your bag? You say, it is on the table. Are you tired? You say, a little. What do you want? You say, I want to learn. What are you doing? You say, I am listening. Can I help you? You say, yes, please. Are you ready? You say, yes, I am. You are doing great. This is natural practice. This is how people talk. Ask and answer. Speak and reply. That is real English. Let's add more. What did you eat? You say, I ate rice. Where did you go? You say, I went to the store. Did you sleep well? You say, yes, I did. What did you do today? You say, I studied English. Do you have time? You say, yes, I have 5 minutes. Great job. You are building skill. You are learning to reply fast. No need to be perfect. Just be ready. Now let's try emotion sentences. These help with real life. Repeat with me. I am happy today. I feel a little sad. I feel excited. I feel nervous. I feel relaxed now. I feel peaceful. I feel stressed today. I feel okay. I feel better now. I feel tired but hopeful. These help you express your mood. You can mix them. You can say them in your mind or out loud. You can write them or whisper them. The more you say them, the more you feel free. Now let's talk about simple stories. You can tell your own story with easy words. Like this. Yesterday I woke up late. I made tea. I listened to music. I wrote 3 sentences. I went outside. I saw a bird. I walked in the park. I came back home. I watched a short video. I ate dinner. I felt sleepy. I went to bed. That's it. That's a story. No hard grammar. No big words. Just real life. Real talk. You can do this. Tell one short story every day. Talk about your morning. Talk about your work. Talk about a trip. Talk about your weekend. Start like this. Yesterday I, then tell the steps. One by one. Use short sentences. Speak slowly. Enjoy your voice. That is how you become natural. That is how you become confident. Don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are welcome here. Mistakes are signs of growth. Every time you say a sentence, even with a small mistake, you learn. You grow. You move forward. So say it wrong. Then say it right. Then say it again. That's how it works. That's how we learn everything. Like walking. Like swimming. Like singing. Like dancing. Try. Fall. Try again. Speak. Pause. Speak again. That's the path. That's the power of natural speaking. You are on the path now. You are walking. You are speaking. You are doing the work. And I am with you. Every word. Every step. Every little sentence. It all matters. You are building your 500 sentences, one by one. And they are building you. She stopped translating in her head. That was the moment everything changed. When she heard, "How are you?" she didn't think of her native language first. She simply felt the question and answered with a smile. "I'm good. Thank you." That small change was the beginning of something big. Speaking naturally started to feel like a new game. Not a scary one. A game where mistakes were allowed and joy was everywhere. When she didn't know a word, she didn't freeze. She tried to show it with her hands. She used another word. She made a funny guess. And guess what? People understood her. They laughed with her. They helped her. They liked her. Not because her English was perfect, but because she was real. And the real person inside her could finally speak out loud. She wasn't afraid of grammar anymore. She didn't stop to ask herself, "Is this the right tense?" She just said what she needed to say. And sometimes, it wasn't perfect. But it was alive. It was true. It was English that breathed. One day, she went to a cafe. She smiled and said, "Hi, can I get a tea with milk?" The person behind the counter said, "Sure. Anything else?" And she said, "No, that's all. Thank you." So simple. But her heart danced. She had done it. Not from a textbook. Not from memory. From her mouth. Naturally. Every day after that, She started talking more. Little things. Excuse me, is this seat taken? Can I help you? I love your shoes. These were not big words, but they were the words of life. They were the words that built bridges. She even started dreaming in English. Just short dreams. A few sentences. But they were hers. And they were English. Her mind was changing. Her body was changing. English was becoming her second skin. She didn't need to be someone else to speak it. She just needed to be herself, but with more words. Her voice became stronger. Her eyes became brighter. And her life became bigger. Not because she knew more vocabulary, but because she wasn't afraid to use what she already had. She had learned one important truth. Speaking naturally doesn't start when you know everything. It starts when you stop waiting. It starts when you open your mouth. It starts when you let go of fear, of shame, of waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment, only this one, right now. And she took it, again and again, even when she made mistakes, even when she forgot a word. She didn't stop. She smiled. She breathed. She spoke again. And the people around her listened. They didn't care about her accent. They didn't count her grammar mistakes. They heard her story, her laughter, her dreams, all in English. One day, she stood in front of a group of people. Her hands were shaking, but her voice came out. Today, I want to tell you my story, she began. And she did, word by word, slowly, gently, naturally. And they listened, and they clapped, not because it was perfect, but because it was true. That day, she knew something deep inside. She could speak English, not just in her room, not just in her mind, but in the world, in real places, with real people, about real things. And that's what it means to speak naturally. You don't wait until you're perfect. You don't speak to impress. You speak to connect, to share, to live. And you do it one sentence at a time. You do it with the words you already know. You do it with courage. And when you forget a word, you smile and try again. That is the real way, the human way, the natural way. And now, her story becomes your story. Because if she can do it, you can too. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Today. This hour. This moment. Say something. Anything. Say, I can do it. Say, I'm learning. Say, this is my voice, and I will use it. Let it begin. Let it grow. Speak naturally. Speak now. Keep going. Never stop. This is your time. This is your story. Keep walking. Keep speaking. And never forget, your voice matters. Your words matter. Even the small ones. Even the broken ones. Especially the brave ones. Speak. 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 She woke up the next morning and whispered, "Good morning," to herself in English. Just 2 words, but they felt real. They felt warm. She sat up in bed, stretched her arms, and said slowly, "I am ready for a new day." The sunlight came through the window, and she smiled. English was now part of her morning. It wasn't something far away. It was with her, like a friend. She went to the mirror and looked at her reflection. "You are doing great," she said softly. "Don't stop. Keep going." These small talks with herself became a habit. At first, it felt strange. But then, it felt like magic. She was learning to speak not just with others, but also with herself. And that made her stronger. At breakfast, she looked at the food and named it. Bread, butter, tea, banana. She didn't rush. She didn't try to make full sentences all the time. She just named things around her. It helped her brain. It helped her tongue. She was training, like a dancer training her body. Every step mattered. Every little word helped. After breakfast, she picked up her phone and recorded her voice. "Today, I want to talk about my room," she said. She looked around and began. "There is a chair, a table, a lamp. The window is open. The curtains are white." Her voice was slow and soft, but it was real. She listened to the recording. It was not perfect, but it was clear. She could hear herself thinking in English, speaking in English, feeling in English. She made another recording. "This is my room. It is small but nice. I like the window. I like the quiet. It is my space." Then she stopped. She smiled again. Speaking naturally didn't mean using big words. It meant using her own words. Words that matched her life, her voice, her world. She started using English in daily life. When she opened a door, she said, "Open." When she closed it, "Close." When she turned on the light, "Light on." These simple actions, with simple words, built a bridge between her body and the language. She was no longer just studying English. She was living it. Later that day, she went to the store. She had her little list: milk, eggs, apples, rice. She repeated the words in her mind. She whispered them. She touched the things and said, "This is milk. These are apples." No one heard her, but her brain heard. Her heart heard. She stood in line, and the person in front of her dropped a coin. She picked it up and said, "Here you go." The person smiled and said, "Thanks." She smiled back. A real conversation. Only 2 words. But real, natural, alive. At home, she watched a short video in English. Very short. Only 1 minute. She listened once. Then again. Then again. Then she tried to say what she remembered. Not everything. Just some words. The cat jumps. The dog runs. The baby laughs. She wasn't trying to be perfect. She was just playing. Playing with words. Playing with sounds. And that's how children learn. That's how we all learn. Not by pressure, but by play. Later, she called her friend, who was also learning English. They had a new rule. Only English, even if it was just 5 minutes. "Hi. How are you?" "I'm fine, and you?" "I'm okay." "What did you eat today?" "I ate rice and fish." They laughed. They helped each other. They corrected gently. They didn't judge. They celebrated. Every sentence was a small victory. That night, she sat down to write. Not in her native language. In English. Just a few lines. "Today was a good day. I spoke English. I helped someone. I listened to a video. I am happy." She looked at the words. They were simple, but full of life. Full of power. She didn't need to write a novel. Just her truth. Just her story. She closed the notebook and said aloud, "I am learning. I am growing. I am proud." The next morning, she repeated the same steps. She talked to herself. She named things. She recorded her voice. She smiled at the mirror. She used English. Slowly. Naturally. Without fear. Without shame. She had learned something big. Speaking naturally is not a gift. It's not for special people. It's a practice. A daily habit. A small fire you keep feeding. It's not about fast speech. It's about real speech. It's not about knowing every word. It's about using the words you know with love, with care, with joy. She didn't wait for someone to give her permission. She gave herself permission to speak, to grow, to be seen. Every mistake she made was a teacher. Every word she spoke was a seed. And she kept planting them, day after day. Soon, the seeds began to grow. She didn't see a big change all at once. But over time, her words became stronger. Her mind became calmer. Her voice became clearer. She started to enjoy speaking English, not just as a task, but as a part of who she was. And that made all the difference. Now, she walks with confidence. She speaks with ease. She laughs in English. She dreams in English. And all of this began with one simple step. She spoke, naturally, gently, again and again. And she never stopped. And every time she spoke, even when the sentence was simple, something inside her felt proud. Because now, her English was not just something she studied, it was something she lived. She walked to the market and asked, "How much is this one?" She met a tourist and said, "Welcome to our city." She helped a lost person with, "Go straight and then turn left." These sentences were not from a grammar book. They came from her daily life, from her heart. She spoke them with warmth, with confidence, not with fear, but with care. She started to enjoy the rhythm of English, the way the sounds moved, the way the words danced. She didn't try to sound like a native speaker. She tried to sound like herself, just in English. And that was enough. More than enough. Because it was honest. It was kind. It was real. She would listen to English songs and hum the lyrics. Even if she didn't understand every word, she felt the emotion. And later, when she looked up one word, she smiled. Ah, so that's what it means. One more puzzle piece clicked into place. And the picture grew bigger, clearer. One evening, she sat with her family and said, "Can I practice some English with you?" Her little brother laughed and said, "Okay, teacher." And they had fun. She told him a story in English. A funny one. He didn't understand every word, but he laughed anyway, because her face was full of energy and her voice was alive. That moment taught her something. Speaking naturally is not about knowing every word. It's about feeling every word. Feeling it in your body, in your smile, in your breath. When she walked, she whispered small phrases to herself. "It's a sunny day. I'm going to the shop. That bird is beautiful." She spoke to the world, not just to people. And the world listened. Slowly, she began to think in English. Not all the time, but more and more. If she dropped something, she said, "Oops." If she was happy, she said, "Yes." These little moments became her private English life. A life full of natural speaking. No pressure, no fear, only play. She made mistakes, of course. Sometimes she said, "He go" instead of "he goes." But instead of feeling bad, she laughed. "Oops. That was yesterday's grammar," she would say. And then she moved on. No need to cry over grammar. No need to stop speaking because of one mistake. One day, she helped a stranger at the train station. The man looked lost. She walked over and said, "Do you need help?" He smiled and said yes. She gave him directions in English. Simple words. Simple steps. He thanked her. She felt like a superhero. Not because she knew big words, but because she used the words she had. And that was enough. That was power. Every conversation gave her a little more confidence. Every smile gave her a little more strength. She didn't need a classroom. She didn't need a perfect lesson plan. She needed curiosity, courage, a little daily action. One word, one sentence, one moment at a time. And soon, people started asking her, "How did your English get so good?" She would smile and say, "I just kept speaking." She didn't say, "I memorized all the grammar." She didn't say, "I read the dictionary." She said, "I opened my mouth and didn't stop." That was her secret. And now, it's your secret too. You don't need to wait. You don't need to study for 10 years. You already have enough English inside you to start speaking naturally. Right now, today, use the words you know. Speak with your eyes, with your hands, with your heart. Don't worry about being correct. Worry about being alive. Be playful. Be patient. Be proud. Because speaking naturally is not a test. It's a gift. A way to connect. A way to feel. A way to live. Keep speaking. Keep dreaming. Keep smiling. Your English voice is growing. And it's beautiful. She sat in her room, looking at the small notebook she always carried. On one page, she wrote, "Speak slowly. Breathe." On another, she wrote, "Mistakes are my teachers." These were not grammar rules. These were heart rules. Life rules. Every morning, she read them before starting her day. She whispered them to herself like a little prayer, like a promise. Today I will speak. She didn't care if people laughed. She didn't care if someone corrected her. She knew this was her journey. Her own voice, step by step, becoming stronger, clearer, freer. In the kitchen, she started naming everything in English. Plate, spoon, salt, onion. She smiled and said, "I am cooking rice." Not for anyone else, just for herself. She was becoming her own teacher, her own classroom, and this made her powerful. Every part of her day became practice, but it didn't feel like practice. It felt like play. It felt like singing to herself in a new language, a language she was falling in love with. One day, while walking home, she saw a little child crying. The mother was trying to calm him down in English. The woman looked worried. She went over and gently asked, "Is everything okay?" The mother turned to her with relief and said, "He lost his toy." The girl bent down and said softly to the child, "Don't worry. We will find it." Just 5 simple words. But those words brought calm, peace, connection, and in that moment, she realized that speaking naturally wasn't about big speeches. It was about small kindnesses, short sentences full of care. That's what speaking is really for, to reach someone, to make them feel safe, seen, heard. Later, she thought, that was a beautiful English moment. Not perfect, but powerful. She began collecting these moments, like stones in her pocket. Each one was a memory, a story, a sign that she was growing. She didn't need a certificate. She didn't need a test score. These moments were her proof. In the evenings, she would sit by her window with her cup of tea and talk out loud to the sky. "Today was a good day," she would say. "I spoke English 3 times." She smiled and added, "And I enjoyed it." Sometimes she imagined she was telling the stars a story. Sometimes she imagined the moon was her English friend. She told the moon about her hopes. "One day, I will speak to people from all over the world." She told the moon about her fears. "Sometimes I freeze. I forget words." But the moon always listened. The moon didn't judge. Just like English shouldn't judge. English is not a wall. It's a bridge. And every day, she was building that bridge. With her own hands. With her voice. With her heart. She watched English movies. But not like a student. Like a child. She laughed when the characters laughed. She cried when they cried. She paused the video and said the line again and again until her mouth felt natural. "I'm fine, thank you. What are you doing? Let's go." Simple lines. But she said them with feeling, with energy. She started to feel how the words danced with emotion. She realized that speaking English was also about acting, feeling, becoming the words. Not just saying them, but living them. She loved the feeling of speaking a full sentence that came from her without stopping, without fear. It felt like flying. It felt like freedom. Sometimes she recorded her voice and listened to it. At first, she felt shy. Do I really sound like that? But later, she began to smile. That's my English voice. That's me. She heard the joy in her words, the progress in her rhythm. Every recording was a little gift, a small window into her growth. One evening, she listened to an old recording from 3 months ago. She was surprised. I used to speak so slowly, she laughed. Now I speak with more flow. That made her happy, not because she was fast, but because she was natural, clear, honest, and she loved the person she was becoming. One day, her school organized a culture day. People had to speak about their favorite thing in English. She was scared at first, but something inside her whispered, "You're ready." She took a deep breath and stepped on the stage. She looked at the people and smiled. "My favorite thing is the sky," she said. Her voice was calm. She didn't rush. Every day, the sky is different. Sometimes blue, sometimes gray, but always beautiful. Her words were simple, but people listened because she spoke with feeling. She wasn't reading from a paper. She was speaking from her heart. After her talk, her teacher said, "That was beautiful," and her classmates clapped. She felt proud, not because she was perfect, but because she was real. She went home that day and wrote in her notebook, "I spoke to many people today. I didn't hide. I didn't worry. I just spoke, and I felt alive." That night, her dreams were in English. She was talking to a friend in a garden. She was laughing. She was free. When she woke up, she said, "Maybe my English is inside me now. Not just in my brain, but in my whole body." And from that day, everything changed again. She didn't need to plan every sentence. She didn't need to check every word. She just lived her day, and the English came with her. Like a gentle wind. Like a kind friend. Always there. Always ready. She still learned new words. Still made mistakes. But those things didn't control her. She controlled her voice. Her courage. Her path. And she knew this was only the beginning. Her English story was still being written. Word by word. Smile by smile. Day by day. And she whispered to herself, "I will keep speaking. I will keep shining. I will speak naturally, with love." She didn't stop there. Every day, she found a new way to use English. Not only in her room, not only in her mind, but in the real world. She looked at everything with English eyes. A tree was no longer just a tree. It was a tall green tree. A dog was a small happy dog. She didn't try to speak fast. She tried to speak clearly, slowly, gently. She wanted her words to land softly, like feathers. She began to talk to herself more, not because she was lonely, but because she was learning. She said, "I'm brushing my teeth," while brushing her teeth. "I'm washing my hands," while washing her hands. The words became part of the moment. Her English was not just a subject. It was a feeling, a lifestyle, a habit. When she saw something funny on TV, she said, "That's so funny." When she felt tired, she said, "I need to rest now." These small sentences were not from a textbook. They came from her life. And that made them powerful, real, true. One morning, she looked at herself in the mirror and said, "You're doing well." She smiled. Not a big smile, but a small, quiet one. A smile of peace. Because now, English was her friend. Not her enemy. Not her fear. A soft, patient friend who stayed with her all day. She began to notice new things. The way words sound when you say them with love. The way people listen when you speak from your heart. She didn't need to speak like an actor or a teacher. She just needed to be herself. That was enough. Every word she said was a seed, and every seed grew into a flower. A soft, beautiful flower of connection. One evening, she went to a little tea shop. She ordered in English, "1 black tea, please." The man behind the counter smiled and said, "Your English is good." She nodded and said, "Thank you. I practice every day." He gave her the tea. It was hot, sweet, and warm in her hands. Like her voice, like her hope, like her journey. That simple moment made her stronger. It was not about grammar. It was not about big words. It was about courage. A cup of courage. That's what she drank that day, and every day after. She made English part of her day, like brushing her hair or tying her shoes. She didn't wait for the perfect time. She made time. She didn't wait to feel ready. She began, even when she felt small. Because she knew the truth. You don't become natural by waiting. You become natural by doing. By trying. By speaking. Even when your voice shakes. Even when your words are slow. Even when you forget something. Especially then. That's when learning becomes real. That's when your voice becomes strong. She read children's books in English. Easy stories. Simple sentences. And she read them out loud. Slowly. Carefully. Each sentence was like a friend holding her hand. Helping her walk. Helping her grow. She found words she liked. Beautiful words like whisper, sunlight, peace. She repeated them softly. Again and again. Not to memorize, but to feel, to taste, to love. English was no longer a subject in school. It was a part of her day, a part of her soul. Sometimes she would close her eyes and say a sentence. I am learning. I am speaking. I am enough. And every time she said it, she believed it a little more. Her confidence grew not from being perfect, but from being present, from showing up, from trying, from smiling. One day, she saw a small boy crying. He dropped his toy. She picked it up and gave it to him. She said, "Don't worry, little one." The boy looked at her and stopped crying. He smiled. That moment was small, but inside it was big, because she helped someone. With kindness. With words. In English. She kept a notebook with her. She called it her Speak Naturally book. In it, she wrote simple phrases. I'm hungry. I like your smile. What do you think? Every day, she added more. Not to study, but to remember. To feel the joy of words. To make English a part of her day. Not something far. Something close. Something warm. And every time she spoke, she felt more free. More alive. More connected. Because now, English was not a mountain. It was a path. A path she walked with love. With courage. With joy. She walked that path every day, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. It was no longer a task. It was no longer a goal. It was part of her breath, part of her smile, part of her everyday life. When she opened her eyes in the morning, she would say, "Good morning, world." When she looked outside and saw the rain, she whispered, "It's raining today." I like the sound. Every small moment became a small sentence. And every small sentence made her stronger. She did not learn English by force. She learned it by love. She learned it by listening, feeling, and softly repeating. Some days were quiet. Some days were noisy. Some days, she was full of energy. Some days, she was tired. But every day, she said a little bit of English. Even on her worst days, she whispered something simple like, I am okay, or I can try again tomorrow. Those small words gave her comfort. They reminded her that English was not a race. It was a journey of moments, steps, smiles, mistakes, and laughter. She didn't try to sound like someone else. She tried to sound like herself in English. That was enough. That was beautiful. One sunny afternoon, she met an old man in the park. He was feeding birds. She sat on the bench near him and said, "Nice weather today." The old man smiled and said, "Yes, very nice." They talked for 5 minutes. Just simple things about the birds, the sky, the trees. But after that, her heart felt so full. She had spoken naturally. She had made a small connection. And that small connection felt big in her heart. She went home and wrote in her notebook, "Today I spoke English with a kind man in the park. I felt calm. I felt happy. I want to do it again." The next day, she went to a bookstore and looked at English books. She picked one up, looked at the title, and said it out loud. "The Wind and the Stars." She smiled. She didn't buy the book. She didn't need to. Just speaking the title out loud was enough for that day. It gave her courage. It gave her joy. That's how she grew, one soft word at a time, one soft moment at a time. She never forced it. She never said, "I must speak for 1 hour today." She just let English flow into her day like water. If she had 2 minutes, she said 2 sentences. If she had 10 minutes, she said 10. She didn't wait for the perfect moment. She made small, quiet moments feel big and strong. And slowly, English became part of her thinking, part of her feelings. One evening, she was cooking and she said, "I'm chopping onions. My eyes feel funny." She laughed at herself. It was a small joke, but it was real. It was natural. It was English. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was just being herself. In 2 languages now. One night, she couldn't sleep. She was feeling lonely. She opened her window and looked at the stars. And she whispered, "I'm not alone. The sky is watching me. I can speak. I can grow." That moment was soft and powerful. She spoke to the sky, and the sky listened. She wrote that in her notebook, too. "The sky listens when I speak in English." That's how deep her English had become. Not just for speaking to people, but for speaking to life, to herself, to the universe. She loved the rhythm of the words. She loved how "I believe in myself" felt when she said it. Not like noise, not like grammar, but like music. Gentle music that made her feel strong. Sometimes she would dance around her room, saying things like, "I am free, I am learning, I am growing." No one saw her, but that didn't matter, because she was doing it for herself, for her future, for her dreams. She even made small songs with her sentences. Just simple tunes, like, good morning, I'm ready to speak." It made her laugh. It made her remember. It made her enjoy English in a new way. One day, she met a tourist who needed help finding a bus stop. She said, "I can help you." And she gave directions in simple English. The tourist smiled and said, "Your English is clear. Thank you so much." After that, she felt like flying. Not because she used big words, but because her small words helped someone. That was the real power. To connect, to give, to help. That night, she looked at her old notebook. Page 1 was full of doubt and nervous words. Page 30 was full of light and peace. That made her smile. She saw her journey on the pages. A quiet journey of love and words. A journey of courage and softness. And she whispered, "I'm proud of myself." She closed the notebook and went to sleep. Her last words before sleeping were in English. "Good night, me. Good night, voice. Good night, dream." and the dream was soft and sweet. Because her English was no longer outside her. It was inside. Inside her heart. Inside her breath. Inside her soul. In the early morning, before the world was awake, she sat by the window with her tea. The sky was still dark, but she could see a little light slowly coming. She closed her eyes for a moment and whispered, "A new day, a new chance." Then she opened her eyes and smiled. Her heart was calm, her mind was clear, and her first thought of the day was in English. Not because she had to, not because someone told her to, but because it felt natural now. English was her quiet friend, her early morning companion. She looked at the steam rising from her tea and said, "The tea is warm. The sky is soft. I am ready." These were simple words, but they had power. They gave her rhythm. They gave her a gentle start. That day, she didn't open a book. She didn't watch a video. She just listened to herself. Every sentence she spoke while getting dressed was in English. "Where's my blue shirt? I think I'll wear this today. Maybe not. I want something lighter." She wasn't practicing. She was just living. Living in English. Step by step. Word by word. She went to the kitchen and said, "I want eggs today." Then she cooked and softly said, "1 egg, 2 eggs. Salt, pepper. Turn the heat down." That's better. Talking to herself while cooking made her feel peaceful. It felt like she was caring for herself not just with food, but with kind words. After breakfast, she washed the dishes and said, "Clean dishes, clean mind." Then she laughed. That little sentence made her day feel fresh. It wasn't from a textbook. It wasn't something she memorized. It came from her. Her own thought. Her own rhythm. In English. Later, she walked to the market. On the way, she saw a flower shop and said softly, "Beautiful flowers. I like the yellow ones." No one heard her, but it made her smile. In the market, she didn't speak much. But in her mind, English was flowing. "Tomatoes look good. What should I make for dinner? Maybe soup. Maybe something new." These small inside thoughts helped her stay close to English. Even without speaking out loud, she was practicing. She was living inside the language, not outside it, not waiting for a classroom, not waiting for a perfect moment. On her way home, it started to rain. She didn't run. She just walked and said, "Rain is soft today. My hair is wet, but I don't mind." She opened her hand to feel the raindrops. Then she whispered, "Little rain, little joy." It was a small poem. Her own words. Her own music. That evening, she sat on her bed and read a short English story. Just 2 pages. She didn't read fast. She didn't use a dictionary. She just followed the rhythm. And when she found a sentence she liked, she read it again. Slowly, like tasting something sweet. The sentence was, "She walked into the light with hope in her eyes." That line made her pause. She closed the book and said the sentence again. This time with her eyes closed. This time with feeling. She walked into the light with hope in her eyes. She didn't need to understand every word. She understood the feeling. And the feeling stayed with her. She wrote it in her notebook. Then under it, she added her own line. "I walk into tomorrow with hope in my heart." Her English was becoming more than just language. It was her way of seeing the world. Her way of expressing feelings. Her way of healing old pain and finding new light. Some nights, she would light a candle, sit in silence, and say kind sentences to herself. "You're doing well. You're learning slowly, but deeply. You are brave." These soft sentences became part of her. They gave her comfort. They gave her strength. No need for perfect grammar. No need for big words. Just truth. Just peace. One weekend, she visited her cousin who was learning English too. They sat on the rooftop and talked for 1 hour, only in English. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. They made mistakes. They laughed. They paused. But they kept going. And when they finished, they both felt so proud. Her cousin said, "I didn't know we could speak for so long." And she said, "We just needed to start." The rest followed. They hugged and promised to talk in English every weekend. Not as a task, but as a gift. A gift to each other. A gift to their future. And so it began. Every Sunday they talked. About food, about books, about memories, about dreams. And every time, it got easier. Every time, the words came faster. Every time, their connection got deeper. She noticed something else too. She was no longer scared of silence. Sometimes during her conversations, there was a pause. But she didn't panic. She just breathed and waited for the next word. English was not a river that had to rush. It was a stream that could flow slowly, gently, quietly, and still reach the sea. One afternoon, her cousin said, "You sound different now. More free. More you." She smiled and said, "Maybe that's because I stopped trying to sound right. I just started sounding real." That was her secret. That was her way. Not to speak like a teacher. Not to speak like a textbook. But to speak like herself. With care, with rhythm, and with truth. One day, she got a phone call from a friend who needed help translating a simple message. She listened carefully and said, "Yes, I can help." And she did, with clear, slow words. Her friend said, "Wow, you're good at this." She said, "I've been practicing every day, quietly." That moment was small, but it stayed with her. It reminded her that every whisper, every soft sentence, every quiet effort, it all mattered. It all added up. Even the words she spoke to herself while washing dishes. Even the little songs she made while walking. Every word built a stronger, calmer voice inside her. That night, she looked at the stars again and said, "Thank you for listening to me. I am not perfect, but I am speaking. I am growing. I am me." And the stars stayed silent, but she felt they understood. She felt they smiled back, and she knew, deep in her heart, that this journey of soft speaking was also a journey of deep becoming. A journey of not just learning English, but becoming someone who could feel more, connect more, and live more fully. With every small, beautiful word she said, she started talking to strangers, just a little. In the shop, she said, "How much is this?" In the bus, she said, "Is this seat free?" In the park, she said, "It's a nice day today." These sentences were short, but they were strong. They were doors. And every door opened a little more of the world. She didn't always get answers she could understand. Sometimes people spoke fast. Sometimes they used hard words. But she didn't panic. She smiled. She said, "Can you say it again, please?" She said, "Sorry, I'm learning English." And people were kind. Because when you speak from the heart, the world listens. Not always with words, but with patience, with eyes, with smiles. One day, she joined a small English club. Just 5 people. They met every Saturday in a library. They drank tea and spoke in English. They made mistakes. They laughed. They helped each other. It was not a school. It was a circle, a safe place, a warm space. She looked forward to it every week. She brought her Speak Naturally book and shared a new sentence each time. I had a good week. I watched a funny video. I want to learn more. They clapped. They listened. They cared. And so did she. English was now alive in her voice, in her notebook, in her Saturdays. At home, she spoke to her cat in English. She said, "You are a sleepy cat." She said, "Don't sit on my book." She said, "You're my little friend." The cat didn't answer, but it didn't matter. She was practicing. She was using her voice. And the voice was no longer shy. It was light. It was soft. It was real. She played English songs in the morning while cooking breakfast. Not hard songs. Simple ones. With clear words. She sang along. Badly, but happily. I'm walking on sunshine. Don't worry, be happy. She didn't care how it sounded. She only cared that she was speaking. Every word was a part of her now. A part of her kitchen. A part of her morning. A part of her life. She also made little English cards and put them around her room. Window. Table. Mirror. But also, be kind. Keep going. You are strong. She read them every day. These were not just vocabulary words. They were life words. Healing words. Magic words. Words that helped her speak and live and grow. One night, she had a dream. In the dream, she was talking in English. Not thinking, not translating, just speaking. Like water, like wind, like breath. She woke up with tears in her eyes. Happy tears. Because now, even in sleep, her English was with her. She remembered how it all began. A small voice. A small step. A small sentence. Hello. My name is. That was the seed. And now, it was a tree. Not the biggest tree. Not the tallest. But her tree. Strong. Alive. Growing. Every day. One word at a time. One smile at a time. One try again at a time. She began helping others. Her cousin wanted to learn English too. So she said, "Let's speak together." They made a rule. Only English for 1 hour a day. They called it English Hour. At first it was strange. They laughed a lot. They forgot words. They used hands to explain. But day by day it got easier. And it was fun. It was not a class. It was a game. A way to connect. A way to build. Together. Sometimes she recorded her voice. Just 5 minutes. Talking about her day. Today I woke up early. I made tea. I saw a red bird. Then she listened. At first, she felt shy. Her voice sounded different. But after a few times, she smiled. Because she heard progress. She heard courage. She heard herself. And she liked it. One evening, she watched a movie in English with English subtitles. It was slow and sweet. She paused often. She repeated the lines. I'm here for you. Everything will be okay. You are not alone. She whispered them. She felt them. And then, she spoke them again. With more feeling. With more ease. With more soul. That night, before sleep, she said to herself, I'm proud of you. Just 3 words. But deep. True. And healing. Because learning to speak naturally was more than just language. It was self-love. It was peace. It was a new way to be. She didn't need to be perfect. She just needed to keep going. To stay kind. To keep speaking. Even when no one listened. Even when she was tired. Even when the world felt big. Because every step was progress. Every word was light. Every try was victory. And now, English was not just a goal. It was a garden. A song. A friend. A part of her story. A part of her voice. Forever. She started talking to her phone more. Not texting, talking. She opened the voice recorder and said simple things. Today is Sunday. I'm eating rice and chicken. The weather is hot. No grammar book. No dictionary. Just her voice, her phone, and the small, honest sentences of her real life. At first, she sounded slow, a little unsure. But slowly, her words became smoother. She didn't plan big speeches. She didn't write long scripts. She just spoke like she was talking to a friend. And in a way, she was. She was becoming a friend to herself in English. Every sentence she spoke was not just practice, it was trust. A quiet trust that said, I can do this. And every day, that trust grew a little more. She made it a habit. 5 minutes a day. That's all. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night. She talked about her dreams. I want to visit a new place. I want to make new friends. She talked about her feelings. I feel tired today. I feel happy. I feel scared, but I will try. She talked like a person, not a student. Because speaking naturally means speaking like a real human. Not perfect, but real, honest, alive. Sometimes she listened to her old recordings. And when she compared them to her new ones, she smiled. The change was slow, but it was there. Her voice was more free, more clear, more warm. One day, her phone rang. It was a new friend from the English club. They had never spoken on the phone before. She felt a small fear in her chest. What if I don't understand? What if I forget words? But she took a deep breath and said, hello. And the voice on the other side said, hi. I just wanted to say thank you for the sentence you shared last week. Her fear melted. She laughed. She said, thank you. I was nervous to share it. And for 10 minutes, they talked. Not fast. Not perfectly. But with care. With smiles. With real voices. It was one of her proudest moments. After that call, she wanted more. She wanted to speak with more people. She found a simple language exchange app. No pressure. Just short chats. Just hello and how are you? She didn't write long messages. She just said, hi, I'm learning. Can we talk for 5 minutes? Some people didn't answer. Some people were too busy. But some people said yes. And in those 5 minutes, she learned something big. That speaking to strangers in English was not scary. It was freeing. It was like opening a small window to another world. She started reading out loud more. Not fast. Not like a robot. But slowly. With feeling. Like telling a story. She didn't care if her pronunciation was perfect. She cared that the words felt alive. She read her favorite sentences from books. She read lines from her English diary. She read quotes she saw online. You are stronger than you think. Mistakes mean progress. Keep going, no matter what. And after reading each one, she would say, yes, that's true. Speaking naturally is not just about words. It's about voice and belief and how you feel when you speak. And she was starting to feel strong. Sometimes she felt tired. Sometimes her mind said, take a break. And she listened. Rest is also part of learning. Some days, she only said one sentence. I'll try again tomorrow. That was enough. She didn't give up. She just rested and returned. That's the secret. Not magic. Not genius. Just return. Again and again. With kindness. With small steps. With real voice. Her cousin gave her an idea. Let's make short videos in English, he said. We can talk about food, or a song, or something funny. She was shy at first. What if I sound silly, she asked. But he said, that's okay. Everyone sounds silly sometimes. Let's just do it for fun. And they did. Their first video was about making tea. Just 10 sentences. Boil the water. Add the tea bag. Wait 2 minutes. They laughed a lot. They made mistakes. But they spoke. on camera, in English. And it was fun. They made more videos about their city, about their pets, about their dreams. And slowly, she forgot to be shy. She started to enjoy hearing her own voice. Speaking naturally was not a goal anymore. It was a habit, a joy, a part of her every day. She spoke while cooking. She spoke while walking. She spoke while thinking. Even inside her head, her thoughts were more and more in English. Not all the time, but more. And that was big. Because when your thoughts change, your voice changes too. She no longer had to force the words. They were coming from me inside, from her heart, from her world. One afternoon, she sat with her mother, who didn't speak English. She said, "Mom, can I tell you a story in English?" Her mother smiled. "I won't understand," she said. But she listened anyway. And the girl began. "Once there was a small bird," she said slowly. "And the bird wanted to fly." She spoke simply, softly. Her mother washed her face, not her words. And at the end, her mother hugged her and said, "I didn't understand the story, but I understand you are doing something beautiful." That moment stayed in her heart, because language is not only about understanding every word. It is about feeling something true. Speaking naturally was now more than practice. It was love. It was memory. It was connection. She wrote one more sentence in her diary. "I speak English now, not because I know all the words, but because I'm not afraid to use the ones I have." That sentence made her cry, not from sadness, but from pride, because she had walked a long road, one word at a time, and she was still walking, still growing, still speaking. And the more she continued, the more her English became like a river, flowing, natural, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always moving. She no longer waited for permission. She no longer asked herself, "Am I good enough to speak?" She just spoke, and every time she opened her mouth, the words came out a little easier. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She wasn't trying to be perfect. She was just trying to connect, to be present, to enjoy the feeling of English in her mouth. She would wake up and say, "Good morning, world." She would stretch and whisper, "Today is a new day." She would cook and say, "Let's add a little salt." She made her life into an English story, and she was the main character. There was no need for applause, no need for a teacher to say, "Well done," because she felt it in her bones, in her smile, in her peace. She learned to talk to her fear like a friend. When the fear said, "Don't speak, you'll make a mistake," she answered, "It's okay. I'll speak anyway." And the fear got smaller, softer. Sometimes it disappeared completely. Other times it stayed, but she spoke through it, with it, around it, until fear was no longer the boss. English became her joy, her freedom, her voice. One day, she sat on the bus and heard two tourists talking. They were lost. The old her would have looked away, but the new her smiled and said, "Do you need help?" The two tourists looked surprised and thankful. She helped them with directions. And when they said, "Wow, your English is great," she smiled and said, "Thank you. I practice every day." She didn't say she studied for years. She said, "I practice." Because speaking is not about knowledge. It's about action, movement, breath. She began teaching her friends simple phrases. "Try saying this," she would say. And when they tried, she clapped and said, "Yes, good job." Because she knew how powerful it was to be supported, to be encouraged. She became a helper, a guide, a gentle English whisperer. She found new joy in old things. watching cartoons in English, reading easy storybooks, singing along with children's songs. Not because they were childish, but because they were clear, kind, fun, and every time she repeated a sentence, it became more natural. Like a favorite song, like a heartbeat, like the wind that moves through trees without asking. English became that wind for her, soft, steady, and full of life. At the shop, she practiced small talk. Hi, how are you today? I'm good, thanks. This is my favorite fruit. The shopkeeper smiled, and she smiled back. That was all. A simple hello, a kind word, and her English grew. At night, she would write one sentence in her notebook. Just one. Today I saw a bird. My tea was hot. I feel proud of myself. And then she would read it aloud. Slowly, gently, like a poem. And then she would close her eyes and say it again. Until it felt like her own. Not copied, not forced, but true. She began to notice something magical. The more she practiced small sentences, the more they came to her without effort. Like old friends arriving at her door. Oh, I know you, she would say. Come in. Let's talk. Her English world became warm, safe, alive. And when someone asked her, "What's your secret?" she said, "I stopped trying to be perfect. I just started to live in English." That was it. That was everything. She didn't wait for a certificate. She didn't wait to feel ready. She just opened her heart and said, "Let's begin." And she never stopped. And now, every day felt like a small English adventure. She would wake up and greet herself in the mirror. "Good morning. How are you today?" she would ask with a smile. And she would answer, "I'm feeling good. I will do my best today." These small, quiet moments helped her speak naturally. She was not talking for anyone else. She was talking for herself. Step by step, she learned that English is not just something you study. It is something you live. She no longer waited for the right time. She made now the right time. When she brushed her hair, she said, "My hair looks soft today." When she opened the window, she said, "The sky is blue. I like this weather." Her home became her English classroom. Her life became her English book. Everything was practice. Everything was speaking. She didn't worry if her sentences were simple. Simple was powerful. Simple was clear. Simple was her way to speak naturally. At the market, she would say, "How much is this? And can I try that one?" Slowly, the words stopped being difficult. They became part of her, like the way she walked or the way she smiled. She even started to play with English. She would try saying the same thing in different ways. "I like this shirt. This shirt is nice. Oh, this shirt looks great." It became fun, like a game. She wasn't afraid to repeat. In fact, she loved it. Because every time she repeated, the words sank deeper into her voice. They stayed. They grew. And soon, they became automatic. She didn't need to think first. The words came on their own. That was when she knew, this is what it means to speak naturally. She began to record her voice. Not to judge it. Not to correct every mistake. Just to listen. Just to hear her own rhythm. Her own sound. At first, she felt shy. But then she smiled and said, "That's me. That's my English voice." And that voice became stronger every week. Softer, but clearer. Slower, but smoother. She would listen and repeat. Pause and speak. She spoke while walking. She spoke while cooking. She spoke while waiting for the bus. Every empty space became a place to speak English. And soon, there were no empty spaces. Her life was full of natural English. She stopped asking, "Am I fluent yet?" and started asking, "Did I enjoy speaking today?" That was her new goal. Not perfection, not speed, just joy, just ease, just expression. When she watched videos, she would repeat after the speaker. She would copy their sound, their pause, their feeling. She didn't care if she sounded a little funny. That funny feeling meant her mouth was learning. And her mouth said, "Thank you for trying. Let's do it again." So she did, again and again. She also began to dream in English. Just small dreams. A short sentence, a little conversation. And in the morning, she would try to remember it. She would write it down and say it aloud. I saw a dog. The man gave me coffee. I was walking on a big road. These dream sentences were special. They came from deep inside. They showed her that English was now a part of her. Not just in her head, but in her sleep, in her dreams, in her soul. Sometimes she would make mistakes. She would say the wrong word. She would forget a phrase. But she would laugh and say, "That's okay. I'm learning." And then she would say it again. Correctly. Confidently. She didn't let mistakes stop her. She used them like stepping stones. Every mistake was a teacher. Every small error was a sign. You're trying. Keep going. She learned to love her mistakes, to welcome them, because they made her better. One day, she met a tourist who needed help. The woman asked, "Do you know where the museum is?" She smiled and said, "Yes, go straight and turn left. It's near the big tree." The tourist said, "Thank you. Your English is very good." And she felt proud, not because someone praised her, but because she could help, because she could speak, because her words were useful, real, alive. She even began to teach her little brother. She would say, "Repeat after me," and he would copy her words. They laughed. They sang. They made simple stories together. The cat is on the car. The dog is eating pizza. They didn't care if it was silly. They only cared that it was English, that it was fun, that it was theirs. She also learned to be patient. Some days were slow. Some days were quiet. Some days she didn't speak much. But she told herself, "That's okay. I am still learning. I am still growing." And the next day, she spoke again. Stronger, happier, more naturally. Because she knew, real learning takes time. Real speaking needs love. And she gave herself that love. Now, she looks back and smiles. A year ago, she was afraid to say hello. Today, she says full sentences with ease. A year ago, she waited for the perfect moment. Today, she creates the moment. She knows English is not just about grammar, not just about vocabulary. English is about courage, about trying, about opening your mouth again and again. And now she can say, "I speak English." Naturally, gently, and truly. And she keeps going. Because the journey never ends. And every sentence she speaks brings her closer to who she wants to be. She sat under a tree one morning, her notebook in hand, and wrote, "Today I speak for joy, not for judgment." It was not just a sentence. It was a promise to herself, a quiet truth she carried everywhere. And from that day, she tried something new, speaking to nature. "Good morning, sky," she said as she looked up. "You look so blue today." She smiled at a flower and whispered, "You are so bright and beautiful." To the wind, she said, "Thank you for your cool breath." This speaking was soft, small, and simple, but it made her heart strong. Speaking to nature made her English more emotional, more alive, more like music. One day she went to the park and saw a little boy crying. His balloon had flown away. She didn't know him, and he didn't know her. But she bent down and said, "It's okay, little one. Sometimes balloons fly to the sky. Maybe they want to see the stars. The boy stopped crying. He looked up and smiled. She had used English not just to speak, but to comfort. And in that moment, she felt something powerful. English could carry kindness, softness, hope. She walked home and said, "Today my English helped someone smile." That was enough. More than enough. It became her daily habit to say 5 kind things in English. To herself, to others, to the world. "You're doing great. Thank you for today. I'm proud of you. You are enough. Keep going." She said these out loud while walking, cooking, brushing her hair. And every time she did, her English voice grew warmer, fuller, more natural. She stopped worrying about grammar. She stopped counting mistakes. She started counting smiles. And every smile she gave and received became a step forward, a step into natural speaking. She also loved music. Not fast music, but slow songs with clear voices. She would pick one line and repeat it again and again. "You are my sunshine. Let it be. Don't worry, be happy." And after singing, she would speak the line like a sentence. Then she would imagine saying it to a friend. "You are my sunshine." She would look in the mirror and say it with love. "You are my sunshine." It wasn't just shadowing. It was shining. One day, she went to a small cafe and the man at the counter asked, "What would you like?" Without fear, she said, "1 tea, please. No sugar. Thank you." The man smiled. She smiled. It was simple, but to her, it was a song. She took the tea, sat down, and whispered, "I can speak. I am speaking, and I'm doing it every day." She didn't need a big audience. She didn't need big words. She only needed a big heart. And her heart was full. She even started making voice messages for herself. Little recordings like, "Today is sunny," or "I am learning slowly, but I am learning." She would listen to these at night before sleeping. Her own voice became her teacher, her friend, her guide. She once told a friend, "When I speak, I feel alive." The friend asked, "But don't you worry about mistakes?" She smiled and said, "No, because even when I make mistakes, I am speaking. I am alive." Her English was no longer a thing to fight. It was her dance, her music, her daily walk through the world. She saw every person as a practice partner, not a judge. If they didn't understand her, she would try again. Slower, softer, with patience. And most of the time, they understood. Because when you speak with love, people listen. Even if the grammar is wrong. Even if the sentence is strange. The heart always speaks louder than rules. So she kept going. One sentence at a time. One kind word at a time. One brave moment at a time. And her voice, once small and shaky, became clear, calm, confident. Not because she studied harder, but because she lived deeper. Because she believed she could. Because she didn't give up. Even when it was hard. Even when she felt tired. Even when the world felt quiet. She kept speaking. And English became not just her second language, but her second skin. Natural, warm, real. She had done something many dream of, but few dare. She spoke without fear, without waiting, and without apology. And she never stopped. One evening, she sat by her window, holding a warm cup of tea, watching the streetlights turn on one by one. The world was quiet, peaceful. She whispered to herself, "I speak slowly, but I speak truthfully." These words felt like a hug. In the past, she would stay silent in fear of saying the wrong thing. But now, silence was a choice, not a prison. And when she did speak, It came from a place of calm. Every day, she added one small sentence to her world. I like this tea. The sky is pink tonight. I am feeling better. She would repeat the sentence 3 times. Then say it with a smile. Then say it with her eyes closed. She was not just learning English. She was learning feeling. And this kind of practice, soft, steady, and joyful, was more powerful than any textbook. Her phone became her friend. She used the voice recorder like a diary. Today I went to the market. I saw a cat sleeping under a bench. I said hello to an old woman. Simple things. But she was building a world of sentences. And every sentence made her stronger. Her voice became familiar to her. Not strange. Not scary. Just hers. One day, she listened to an old voice message from months ago. She smiled. The voice was nervous, slow, unsure. But now her voice was warmer, smoother, more free. She whispered, "Look how far I've come." And she felt proud. Not perfect, just proud. That night, she told herself, I am not waiting anymore. I speak now. I live now. And so she started trying a new practice. She called it her mirror talk. Every morning, after brushing her teeth, she looked into her eyes in the mirror and said 5 sentences in English. You are doing well. Today is a new chance. You are learning. You are kind. Speak from the heart. These words were her medicine, her magic, her little fire that lit up the day. And as she said them, she felt more ready to speak to the world. It was not loud or fast, but it was real, and that's what made it strong. When she walked to the bus stop, she would look around and describe things in English. That car is red. The man is wearing a blue shirt. The dog is sleeping on the grass. It was like painting the world with words. No one heard her, but that didn't matter. Her words were for her. A way to see, a way to feel, a way to connect. Sometimes she would close her eyes and speak slowly, just imagining a world where she talked freely with people in parks, shops, trains. And she would whisper the words, "Excuse me, where is the bakery?" Or "What a lovely day," or "Can I help you?" She was rehearsing life, practicing peace, speaking for the future she believed in. And one day, that future came. She was sitting on a bench in a small garden, notebook in hand, when a traveler asked, "Do you know where the library is?" She blinked. Her heart jumped. But then she smiled and said, "Yes, it's that way. Walk straight and turn right." The traveler thanked her and walked away. She sat still for a moment, then smiled wider than she ever had. "I did it," she whispered. "I helped someone. In English. In real life." That evening, she recorded a voice message. "Dear me, I'm proud of you. You were brave. You spoke kindly. You helped someone today. Keep going." She played the message twice. 3 times. It became her lullaby, her proof. And the next morning, her mirror talk changed. She added a new line. I speak English in the real world. From that day on, she carried a small paper in her pocket with her favorite phrases. It's okay. I understand. You're welcome. Take your time. Nice to meet you. When she waited in line, she touched the paper. When she felt nervous, she read one sentence. These words were not just tools. They were her courage, folded and kept close. Sometimes she still made mistakes. She would forget a word, say the wrong tense, mix up the order. But now, she would simply laugh, fix it gently, and move on. Mistakes are part of the music, she would say. And she danced on. Even her dreams began to change. One night, she dreamed of walking through a garden, speaking with birds. In English. The birds replied softly, "You are doing well. Don't stop." She woke up smiling. Her voice, once unsure, had become part of her dream world too, and she wrote in her notebook, "Even my dreams speak English now." She started sharing her journey with others. Quietly, kindly, a friend asked her, "How do you speak so naturally?" She said, "I speak like I breathe. Slowly. Every day. From my heart." Another friend said, "But I still feel afraid." She held their hand and said, "That's okay. Speak with fear, but speak anyway." Her story was not about fast results. It was about daily love, daily effort, daily bravery. And her English, once a wall, had become a bridge, a light, a way. She sat on the same bench the next morning, watching people pass by, some talking on the phone, some laughing, some silent like she used to be. The notebook sat on her lap, open to a blank page. But her heart was not blank. It was full, full of all the words she had spoken, all the moments she had tried, all the fear she had gently faced. She looked up at the blue sky and whispered, "I speak naturally now." Not because she was perfect, but because she had learned something deeper than grammar or pronunciation. She had learned how to feel calm with her own voice. She had learned how to take small steps, even on days when her confidence felt tiny. She had learned to be patient with herself. That was her biggest secret. She never gave up. Even on days when she said just one sentence. Even on days when she only listened. Even when she felt silly or slow. She kept going. Slowly. Lovingly. Step by step. That was the real way to speak naturally. It was not a magic trick. It was not about big, fast words. It was about small, kind sentences said with care. One day, she heard a child learning to talk. The child said, "Apple," then "red apple," then laughed. It reminded her of her own journey. First word, then sentence, then laughter. She realized something simple but powerful. Speaking is not a test, it is a gift. A way to connect, a way to share, a way to live. She no longer counted her mistakes. She counted her tries, and she celebrated each one. That was her power. That was her peace. She began helping others. Gently, the way she had helped herself. She told them, "Repeat slowly. Don't rush. Use your eyes and hands when words feel shy. Breathe before speaking. Smile before starting. It's okay to pause." These simple tips came from her own story, from the long walks, the mirror talks, the whispered practice, the dreams. She was not just speaking English anymore. She was teaching it, with love, with story, with heart. People listened to her because she was real, not fast, not fancy, just real. And that made all the difference. She wrote her final sentence in her notebook, softly, with a calm heart. "I have found my voice." Then she closed the notebook and stood up. As she walked home, she passed a woman sitting on a bench, holding a book but looking unsure. The woman smiled and asked, "Do you speak English?" She stopped, nodded, sat beside her. "Yes," she said, "and I used to feel just like you. Let's speak together." And they did, slowly, kindly, sentence by sentence, like a quiet song, like a new sunrise, like a friend holding your hand and saying, "Don't worry, you're not alone anymore." That was the end of her fear, and the beginning of her freedom. A soft ending, a beautiful beginning, spoken naturally, forever.